Hello, my name is Travis Newbell. I live and work here at Shambhala Mountain Center, where we'll be hosting a really fun weekend program called Comedy Improv, Humor for Health and Self-Discovery. That's going to be led by Jacqueline Kabat, who's a comedian based in Manhattan, performs at places like Gotham and Caroline's on Broadway. She studied with Amy Poehler, warmed up audiences at ABC Studios, and is currently in production for her documentary, Comedy Improv Can Save the World. So she teaches improv in theaters, corporations, medical centers, and institutes such as Omega and Esalen. And we're really glad that we're going to be having her here. And I'm really glad that I have her virtually here today to have a little bit of discussion and fun. So thanks so much for joining, Jack.
Thanks for having me.
So the first question that might pop up for people is, how does comedy improv fit in to a spiritual contemplative center or spiritual contemplative lifestyle?
Well, I've been performing for many, many years, and in addition to that, I sort of took an interest in, I use the word spiritual loosely, but just humanistic, alternative, healing options, Buddhism, yoga, all of that. And I realized that comedy improv, that really it's essentially the same thing. It's all about being in the moment, letting go, building something together. And I put the pieces together, and so I decided, why not start teaching it at places I want to go to. But comedy improv, it really is a wonderful, wonderful healing tool, because it's such a present art form, which essentially is everything that you teach there at Shambhala, at Omega, Esalen, every class, regardless of what it is. It's really about bringing people back to their center and being in the moment. So if you can do it through laughter, why not?
Sounds great. Laughter is, I don't think anybody has a problem with it.
Yeah, and that's actually a good point. I always wonder, it's very rare that you find someone who says that laughing is a bad thing.
The universal indicator that something right is happening.
Exactly.
So, so when I know enough about comedy improv that there's an exercise called the yes and, or that's like a notion that's used a lot. How might that help? I guess in our everyday life situations.
Well, it's interesting because how you are on stage really is a mirror to how you are in life. And what's so great about comedy improv, and you nailed it, the two main words are yes and. When you're on stage with someone, I always encourage my students to say yes and early in the beginning of the class to it ensures that a scene moves forward, because when you negate someone or you question someone, you sort of end up in that holding pattern, and the whole idea in improv is moving a scene forward and not steering it. The whole thing is letting it grow organically. So if you know that your partner will be agreeing with you, then it just makes life easier. And then the second big rule too is the whole idea of making your partner look good, because sometimes people get up there and like, how can you're just thinking about things to say, I don't know what to say to be funny. But if you're entirely focused on your partner and making them look good, then it keeps you present and you always have something to say. And the good news is their job is to make you look good also. And I always say, don't go for the joke. I promise that as long as you commit to the yes and making the partner look good and other rules that I filter in throughout the class, the humor will just take care of itself. Always.
Not trying to be clever and contrive a joke, but trusting that the humor
it never works. Yeah, and it's humbling. It really is. Like I said, it is a mirror to how you are, and if you're that type of person who's doing that, that's what you're doing in your life. So it's a wake up call for a lot of people.
It seems familiar, as you're describing the on stage improv exercise. That's like, sounds a lot like how in my my particular spirituality, I'm Buddhist, or whatever the teachings that I'm in. That's pretty much the encouragement, of how to proceed in our everyday lives. And it's really, it can be really edgy, right? You become really vulnerable if you're not trying to make a joke, but just
Yeah, but it's a great place to, it's the perfect place to be vulnerable because everyone else on stage with you and everyone else in the class is there just to support you, and it's a place to make big choices because it's going to be agreed with. So to me it's just like the perfect place to really step out of your comfort zone. And it's just so supportive. I mean, it's beyond even the people just on stage, even the people in the audience, if you're not on stage at the time, it's just this collective support. And that's my whole theory is, heal yourself, heal your community, heal the world. And what happens, and you'll see this when I come there, is that the class, there's just a buzz because, they just grow so quickly together because I give anyone credit for taking my class if they're not performers. It's scary. And then it sort of filters through on campus there, wherever I teach. There's this joy and this unity, and you'll see it. You should stop by the class.
Maybe I will. Maybe I could give a little sample now. Maybe I could have a little sample now.
Okay.
I'm scared and I'm not comfortable, and I'd love some joy and unity. So we can do an exercise together maybe it'll offer me a little glimpse of that. So can we do that? Can we do something?
I mean, we'll just do the basic yes and. We'll start a conversation, and the first two words out of both of our mouths will be yes and for each sentence. And again, don't try to be funny. And I'll go ahead and filter in the second role too. Have you ever done improv before?
I don't know about this form. I'm a musician, and I like to improv a lot in that way. I like to improv all over the place, but I don't know if I've ever done an exercise.
Yeah, I'm just throwing a lot at you. This is a unique situation. So we're just going to start a conversation, and the first two words out of our mouths for each sentence will be yes and. Okay? We're not going to ask questions. If we say yes and, it will avoid us even being in the position to ask questions. And focus on each other, making each other look good. I mean, an example could be like, your scarf is so beautiful. You could tell me, I don't want to, whatever. Just make me look good in whatever way makes you feel good. That seems natural. We're just going to start a conversation. Okay? So, thank you so much for having me on this interview today on Google+. So say yes and.
Yes and. Thank you for being willing to figure out the Google+ and get on the screen here.
Yes and. I couldn't have done it on my own without your expertise in the technical field because I was having some problems. So thank you for walking me through this to get here.
Yes and. It was a joy walking you through it because it was like, otherwise I'd be walking through it myself, or actually falling down the Google rabbit hole myself.
Yes, and that Google rabbit hole is one mysterious place. So if I were to go down it, I would want to go down it with someone as lovely and as open as you.
Yes, and I'm sure that whoever we encountered when we fell down together would be delighted that we both landed in their Google domain, their googly abode.
I've been wanting, yes, and I've been wanting to explore, in an alternative Google universe, and there is no one I would rather do it with than you.
Yes, and every time that I explore alternate universes, I try my best to do it with somebody who's so witty and funny and courageous to improvise, because I figure those are the best tools to explore alternate universes.
Yes, and I agree. And you know what? People in alternative, or entities in alternative universes love red scarves. And your red scarf is so beautiful. And I think because of your scarf, we're just going to go down there and be a huge hit.
Yes, and I expect that flowing blonde locks will be well received, and you may be perceived as a goddess, which you are. And so, me to be with you, they will also think highly of me.
Yes, we are going to blow their minds down there in alternative universe rabbit hole land. It's going to be great. And you know what? Once we're done with that rabbit hole, I think we should really blast the nation and go into all the rabbit holes and just show them what we're all about. And then we'll invite them to my class in at Shambhala. We'll all hang and drink green tea and eat gluten-free muffins.
Yes, and we maybe invite the rabbits. We have rabbits here at Shambhala Mountain Center, and we will go into their holes with all the entities from other dimensions, and we can invite them out and into the workshop in the the lovely spaces that we have set up for this workshop, which occurs May 9th to 11th.
I think that's great because I have been wanting to expand my class to animals, all types of animals, all types of aliens, and all types of entities across the board. And I think two of us together, when I come there, we're really going to make some magic. Things are going to happen.
So you, me, the bunnies, and the alien entities are going to have a good time, and whatever entities may be tuned in and watching and listening to this.
No entities are turned away.
No entities are turned away. Comedy Improv, Humor for Health and Self-Discovery, May 9th to 11th.
May 9th through 11th. And if I can figure out Google Plus and actually get myself to the interview, teaching bunny rabbits will be nothing.
Nothing. You might be able to teach them how to hang out in Google Plus.
Yeah, exactly. Next interview we do, assuming I'll come back next year, I'll have a bunny.
Me too.
Okay. You're good. Will you come by my class? Can you take it?
I can.
Will you do it?
I'll be glad. I have to look at my schedule if I'm going to be in town or not.
Oh, I would love it. I can tell you'd be great energy for it.
I would love that also.
Yeah.
So I'll be glad to see you here as long as I am here with the bunnies and the creatures.
You're a performer. You're a natural.
Oh, gee.
Oh, gee.
And are we still doing the thing? No, I have to make you look.
Now we're just we're just complimenting each other in real life. Scene's over.
Oh, geez. Yeah, you're.
But you got the gist of it. How we just kept, and you made big choices, and we moved it forward. But can you see if I had negated anything you said, not only would we have not moved it to where we ended up with the bunny, it would have just been it's a negative vibe.
Right.
And sometimes you can get a laugh if you negate someone, but we call it the cheap laugh. It's like it's so much better just to let go and see where we can take it together. Hence the connection to why it works at places like the Shambhala Center.
Yes. And
yes. Again, that scene's over.
Good. Well,
yeah, so that's the gist of it. And again, I do a series of games. My classes, it's interesting. I actually have to tap into my own improv skills a lot because every group I work with has sort of a different dynamic. We end up doing a series of games. I don't know if you've seen or anyone who's watching this has seen Whose Line Is It Anyway? But I do a series of games. What happens is ultimately the group gets close and we start, I'll start creating scenes based more on their real life situations, things that they want to work through. And for example, I did a class at Essen, and there was a couple, or there was a woman who was having a hard time with her boss back at home. So we improv the scene out. She actually played the part of the boss, and we had someone else play her. And we took the situation, whether it was he was too demanding, I don't even remember exactly what it was, but what happens is when we apply the improv rules, obviously something very different happens that would actually happen in the office, but what it does is it took her out of it, and it allowed her to observe the angst and find the humor in it, opposed to, I guess, marinating in it. So you can go back to work and you've sort of absorbed another way of looking at it. So it's not that the situation might even change, but her reaction to it won't be as heavy. And it works. They invite me back, so.
Yeah, I can see already how it can be a lot of fun and therapeutic, and
Yeah,
something that it would be easy to take out into everyday life.
absolutely. And I
Yes.
have to say, I love teaching people. Most of the people in my classes are not, they've never performed before. And there's something I love teaching non-performers because they're, first of all, if they're, like I said, if they're there, they're pretty open. Because I understand how scary it could be. But they have so much that needs to come out. So it's really interesting being with someone who's 50 years old who's never been on stage before.
Mhm.
And it's amazing. And people go and they don't. You've been told they aren't funny, they aren't this, they aren't that, and it's just incredibly empowering. And I think one of the reasons, of the many reasons I love doing it so much, is you see the shift in people so fast because it's experiential. You're on your feet. They feel, it's not just thinking differently. They feel differently so fast, and then they glow. I love teaching it. It's just I feel like I'm the luckiest person because I get to see all this shift and change happening. So I think comedy improv can save the world. That's why I'm making a movie about it.
And I'm excited for that too. When is that? Is that
Well, we're
when's
in
it
the
coming?
pre-production phase right now, so that will definitely be something to look forward to. Comedy improv can save the world.
Yeah, so you can learn all about that project as it unfolds by
Yeah.
linking up with
Anyone can,
Jacqueline on the
yeah,
Facebook and the Twitter and checking her out.
anyone
She's
can
a
friend me on
really avid
Facebook.
and hilarious tweeter.
Yeah, I'm very active. Facebook, I do everything. Facebook's my biggie. So Jacqueline Kabat, if anyone wants to friend or follow me, and then my improv, uh, I have a page for my documentary. It's called Comedy Improv Can Save the World. Let's get straight to the point.
Cool. So this interview will be published on our blog, and I'll be sure. So up there
Yeah,
or over here, down there, you can click on links to these different websites to learn more about Jacqueline and her work
yeah.
and her play. And we hope a lot of you who have tuned in. Thanks to everybody for tuning in for this session. And we hope that you'll come up and join us. And Jacqueline, definitely, we're all looking forward to having your energy up here on the land.
And my website is just jacquelinekabat.com. My email's on there. So if anyone has any questions, email. And yeah, if you're watching this and are interested, I'd love to have you there. It's
Cool.
safe. I always say I only made someone cry once, and it was me. It's very safe. That's just the word I want to get out. It's just easy breezy, safe, and
Right.
just fun. And just fun. You'll make some great friends too. It's a really great. Had a few reunions or some classes, and it's a great time.
Well, please, everybody who's viewing, bunny, aliens, peoples of all sorts, entities, creatures, you are more than welcome and invited to come have a really fun weekend with us up here in just about a month and a half. So, thanks everyone for joining us. Jacqueline, thank you for joining us. I'm going to hit the button and then we can finish up together
Okay.
off the air.
Okay.
And we'll see you all soon. Cheers.
Bye.